Welcome to United States of Formula One. I'm Nikki.
And I'm Cookie.
And we are here to talk about Baku.
Or Azerbaijan.
And I would say, by far, my favorite race of the year.
By far. Unquestionable. Constant action. Nobody pulls away. Just fun.
Too much stuff. I don't know if we're going to actually be able to get to everything. We're going to try.
Let's do it.
We're going to try
Let's do it.
Now, I'm going to talk about something that you may not like. Conspiracy theory that may be happening.
Go ahead.
Lando Norris, Team McLaren. What happened?
Your buddy, Lando. He's your best buddy. Okay, I'll give you that there was confusion. Was the flag yellow? Was the flag white? Team says one thing. Telecasters say another thing. Elaborate.
So Lando didn't see it at all. His team said yellow. The TV that I was watching and everybody else was watching all around the world obviously seeing white.
Right.
Now, white flag, white light basically means slow moving vehicle ahead. You can continue your lap.
Zip through.
Yellow, you have to lift off the throttle. It's done. Because the team got on and said yellow, he's out in Q1.
Now your stud has to start 17th.
Starts 17th. So, what else happened in qualifying memorable for you?
Memorable things. Hamilton qualifies 7th, but then has to replace the power unit.
Okay.
So he ends up having to start in pit lane.
Pit lane.
Brutal start for him. Positive notes. Team Williams. Calapinto, young fella, they qualify 9th and 10th. I mean, that's solid.
That's amazing because Logan Sargent is gone, so we don't know where he would have been. But I got to say, congratulations. Charles Leclerc hits the pole. They're on fire.
Dude is on one right now. Wins 2 weeks ago. Now he's on the pole. Ferrari's doing great. Sainz doing great. I mean, they're trending.
They're trending upward for sure. Now, let's get into the race.
Yep.
Again, so much happened in the race. Nothing really in the beginning. Leclerc is in the lead.
Yep.
But about lap 20, Piastri, that move.
Bold.
Crazy.
Bold.
Hits DRS, coming into the corner.
Right into the corner. It wasn't like he gave it a lot of time on the straightaway.
No, he makes a pass on the turn. Now, at the end of the race, they're talking about it, and Piastri admits, I had about a 50-50 shot of making that corner.
He's talking to Russell and Leclerc, and he's saying I had a 50-50 chance of whether I was going to smash into the wall or whether I was going to make that pass. And you heard Russell watching it live, or watching the playback there, and he goes, oh. That is such a great compliment.
So my question is, the 50, the bad 50, what does that put him into the wall?
It does put him into the wall.
That puts him into the wall. So good for him. Now I want to redeem a little bit of McLaren's mistakes in qualifying, okay? Because on 17 laps to go or so, essentially, they tell Lando, let's box. We want to go after Verstappen.
Which is great. They're saying you can reach him. Let's get you some new tires.
No.
You're close enough. You're not going to win, but let's get you in front of the guy that you're competing for.
No, you know what I heard? This is what I heard.
What did you hear?
This is what I heard was we messed up yesterday. We need the chance to redeem ourselves and pass Max Verstappen in the race. And what, 3 laps to go? He's just gaining. 3 laps to go. Verstappen has no chance. Norris.
Those fresh tires just...
Norris passes.
And Verstappen, you could hear him as the race is continuing. He's saying, he's gaining. He knew he was coming. He knew it was
happening. He didn't really put up much of a fight.
No.
Too much complaining. But luckily that Norris passed, because with 3 laps left, almost when Norris passed, there's a massive wreck between Perez and Sainz, which we will get into.
Not that I love the carnage, but we will get into that in the next segment, because that's great stuff. But you see Piastri, you see Leclerc on the podium again.
Yeah.
Trending huge right now.
What do you think about George Russell?
I think he was lucky and he was in the right place at the right time. Now, he had to put himself in 5th place. He can't just be back of the pack. But when the 2 in front of him just say, here, would you like to be on the podium? We'll just end up in the wall here for you. I
So-
thought that was kind.
Well, the good thing, though, is he's on the podium, and I believe that this one will count. So
We did win our bet, though,
we did.
on that. Well, we don't need that.
We won our bet, but I want to congratulate you. Last week, he picked Piastri, I picked Norris. Now, I might be using the conspiracy stuff as an excuse of why I lost to you, but congratulations
This
to you.
seems like kind of a backhanded congratulations. Just make me blush a little, pat me on the back, and let me know that I picked my dog.
You picked the right guy. I think that Lando probably still had the fastest car.
He did.
He for sure had the fastest car.
From
But
15th to 4th, I mean.
what about the end of that race? Did you see what happened after the safety car?
You were mentioning something about Verstappen, and
So, virtual safety car is out, and basically by rule, stewards say you cannot pass another vehicle.
Right.
So Verstappen's just moseying along, passing all the cars. Now, Lando gets on the radio and says, Verstappen's passing people. He's not supposed to do that. Verstappen says, I was just congratulating people. He goes, I'm just saying great work.
It's just the GOAT coming by, letting you know, hey, you did great. I'm still the best. I'll be back next week.
I'll give it to Verstappen. He said he thought virtual safety cars out. He's like, I thought the race was over, so he was just going to
We're playing
congratulate
around.
people.
Yeah, obviously,
So
that's what he was doing.
that was for sure what he was doing. I don't know if I believe it. I think he was trying to make a couple extra passes. He's not. He's a little upset that Lando's been beaten
Oh,
in
of
the
course,
last
your
few
boy,
weeks.
your boyfriend there. You're all worried about him again.
I love Verstappen. I was his fan last year.
You used to love Tom Brady.
But I'm a Bears fan if we go Chicago, and orange is my color because of that. So I think we need to go and get into depth on this crash with Sainz and Perez, though. Don't
Let's
you
do
think?
that.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back to USF1, and Nikki, I'd like to get right into the crash. We promised we were going to get into it, and I think we're going to have some meat in this segment.
Oh, man, we said there was a lot that happened. Now that was quite a wreck. One, I want to say, glad that both drivers are okay.
Of course.
They've already walked away from it. But who do you think was at fault?
You could literally convince me. We could sit here and talk about it for 4 hours, and you could convince me one way or another. I mean, you could say that it was Sainz's fault.
Okay.
He makes the pass. Now he wants a little 2 for 1. He wants to then pass his teammate, which you could make arguments of why he wants to do that. Wouldn't he be happy with just a Ferrari 2-3 on the podium? Or is he a little miffed that he knows he's getting the boot from Ferrari? He's not going to be with them next year. He's going to be with Williams anyhow.
Yeah.
But then I could look at the other side and say, well, now he's got position, and Perez clips his rear tire with his front tire. He's not in position to pass there. I mean,
So my only thought was they're both going, Leclerc's in front. They're both going to try to hit that slipstream.
they are going with the slipstream.
They're trying to hit the slipstream. Perez, to me, should have moved over a little bit. Sainz barely had enough room, but he maybe could have moved over a little bit. They're looking in their mirrors. I mean, you know who I think was at fault?
Let me guess.
Who?
Max Verstappen.
No, I think Charles Leclerc's fault.
Oh.
I'm gonna maybe take a different stance his tires are cooked from chasing Piastri.
Correct.
He's going to get passed by both of those drivers.
Yes.
In my opinion, I think he's going to finish fourth now.
He knew it.
He's going to, and he put a pretty nice slight block on Perez, having him to lift. Perez gets back on the throttle. Sainz does a great job passing. But, I mean, maybe get out of the way? How do you feel about that?
Well,
I know he said you can't do that as a racer. You need to block.
But
if
if it's
if the crash doesn't happen, he gets passed for sure.
But if it's just 2 random cars behind you,
Okay.
I understand that. But I think he wanted help from Sainz. He wants his teammate. So he pulls off the throttle. He knows that Perez is going to catch him, but he also is going to bring Sainz up there for help. I think that's a bold take to say the guy that's in second caused the wreck. 2 guys behind him.
I know I'm joking, but if you Perez could have moved over, Leclerc, you could have at the end of the race, it would have been Leclerc's. He's gone. His tires are fried.
Yeah.
It would have been a battle for second and third. Perez essentially was already in third. The worst he could have gotten, Sainz second, Perez third, which he could have at least still been on the podium, helped out the team. So, I mean...
But from Leclerc's point of view there...
He's got a block.
He
He's
just
got
won 2 weeks ago. He's
Yeah.
on the pole here. He's riding a high. He's not going to just concede the fact that, yes, my tires are cooked. Yes, I can't catch Piastri. I'm just going to let these two guys pass me. He's just going to think, all right, Sainz, if you can hold them off and we'll find a way for you to get into third, but I want second place.
But think about team too. Sainz has a faster car. Sainz is going to pass Leclerc. Now, Leclerc's job then is to block the faster car Perez to try and block to get third.
Right.
So that could have been it too. But the stewards basically deemed it to be nobody's fault. It's a racing deal. I think the same thing.
You kind of make a good point. I love playing devil's advocate.
I like to go to add in another guy.
Because you say that, there could be an argument that's Leclerc's fault.
Yeah, look at that carnage, though.
I think it's Perez's fault. I'm just going to say that. I think it's his fault, regardless of what all happened before and whether Sainz should have given him room or should have slid back over to get behind Leclerc. I get all that, but if you're clipping somebody's rear tire with your front, I just think it's your fault.
I agree. I'm going to say it's a racing deal and it's nobody's fault.
Okay,
I'm going to go with that.
That's what they said.
That's exactly what they're going to say. So let's talk about the top 10.
Okay. We got into the top. We got into the podium already, but let's dig a little deeper there.
So I want to give some props to Lewis Hamilton for starting essentially in the pits.
Started in the pits?
To come back and finish in 9th place is pretty commendable.
Ninth place. I mean, he's really in 11th. He's granted 2 spots, just like everyone else behind there was granted 2 spots. But regardless,
points,
that's racing.
He got points for the team. He's a legend. So,
7-time world champion, Lewis Hamilton. You respect that. I want to congratulate the rookies.
Both of them.
Colapinto, Behrman, 8th, 10th, points for their teams. Would Magnussen have gotten those points?
I would like to say one thing. You were right on Ollie Behrman. I said Mick Schumacher. I said Mick, and it was a joke, but it would have been fun.
Yeah.
But watching Ollie go down the track and beat your boy.
I know. Behrman comes in for Haas and gets points, and my boy Hulkenberg still finishes. He was 11th. Could have been 13th without the crash, but it's just sad that the rookie is already getting points when he's not. But
well,
I don't like you disrespecting him. Okay.
Williams teams both got points.
Yeah.
McLaren's teams both got points.
Yep. Trending in the right direction.
Verstappen didn't.
Ferrari should have had 2 in there other than the wreck. I get that.
So should have Red Bull. but they didn't. Yuki Tsunoda, second DNF.
He did in the post-race interview. He said it was a great disgrace. He feels terrible about it. I get it, but you can only feel bad for so long. Eventually, you have to perform.
If I was going to put money on it, which we did, but if I was going to put money on it, Yuki's he's so good there that I would have put him at least finishing in the top 10.
After 2 weeks ago DNF, I just think it's becoming a trend now.
Well, he needs to come back this week and do something.
Okay.
You know what? We'll be right back.
Welcome back to USF1. And Nikki, let's get right into the Constructors' Cup standings.
I want to say a big congratulations to McLaren for hopping right on over Red Bull.
It was inevitable.
It was.
You've seen this coming for weeks and weeks.
Well, it helps too when you got 2 guys in the top 10, in the top 4, getting you points.
And when you have the 2 teams behind you having guys
one guy crash out. So that does help. What do you think about Ferrari passing Red Bull?
I think it's going to happen.
I think it's going to happen too.
I think Verstappen he's just right in that 5th, 6th, 7th every week now. I think he's trending in the wrong direction. I think Leclerc's been a stud.
So I would say the top two teams now, as of the last few weeks, after with Monza, have been McLaren and Ferrari.
I think that's obvious. I think that's easy.
And Red Bull has taken a big step back.
Yeah.
So, and even Mercedes looked good on the last race. So I don't believe they will be able to catch up.
So if you had to predict end of year standings right now, would you put McLaren 1?
I go McLaren,
Ferrari 2?
Ferrari 2.
Okay.
Red Bull 3. What about Haas?
I mean, I love Haas. I think they could slip into 6th ahead of RB.
7th place, it would be huge for Haas to pass Red Bull's mini-me team.
Their junior varsity
The junior
squad.
varsity team. I think that maybe, I don't know if they've ever done it before. I'd have to look at
It'd
it.
be a huge goal. I mean, Hulkenberg got the bulk of the points for the team early on. Now
Yep.
he's been sliding a bit. And you
Ollie
get
picked up a point.
Magnussen a couple weeks back. Ollie Behrman, the rookie, comes in. He's helping. Now, granted, it's just a point, but I mean, when you're that far back in the standings, 1 point, 3 points, it's huge.
If Hulkenberg can get another couple 7th, maybe 6th place finishes.
Or just win.
Or just maybe
You
win.
know he's going to win.
What about Williams getting above Alpine this week?
2 racers in the top 10. They got
That-
both guys getting points.
Huge.
I mean, and what I really want to look at is how well Kick Sauber's doing.
I think Kick Sauber, my goal for them would be to get
Just give me a
1
point.
point.
Just 1 point,
before
guys.
the end of the season. Now, I believe unfortunately, the only way that's happening is if 10 cars and not them DNF by the end of the race. But
Those are some serious eyes.
well, if it's not them, no matter what, 9/10, you're
Yeah,
perfect. Then you
I
get-
know.
So, Audi next year, hopefully they're better. So, let's talk about driver standings.
Driver standings. Obviously, everyone's talking about Verstappen Norris, who's going to get the title. I think 5 weeks ago that was determined. Verstappen was on such a season like he was last year. He's so far ahead. Could it mathematically happen? Yes. Is it going to happen? No. Verstappen has that locked up. So what are we really looking at?
The real race is between 2nd with Norris, 3rd Leclerc, and Piastri. I think
Okay.
that is going to be the race that I am watching. If Norris keeps getting conspiracy theoried out, Piastri could bump to 2nd. So, I mean, Leclerc he's been killing it.
2 weeks in a row.
He can bump up to 2nd and bump Norris down. I think it's going to be great to watch.
I think, all jokes aside, you're talking the conspiracy theory. I think weeks ago, Piastri's not in this discussion to potentially finish 2nd.
No.
I think it's great what he's been doing, and then obviously to win this week, I'm excited to see it. But I don't know. I don't know that he can pass Leclerc. It's not like he has easy guys he needs to pass. It's going to be a battle to the end, and I think that's what everyone's going to be excited to see. Is that
Well,
second,
Perez
third.
can take out Leclerc this week, and then
Perez is just there to
just take out the Ferraris.
Okay.
You never you just don't know at this point.
Is this another conspiracy theory? This guy is just.
You just never know.
Yeah,
So
I know.
this week coming up, Singapore,
Beautiful city.
another street circuit. I'm excited.
Back to back.
I am excited.
Speaking of street circuit, and we're talking about Verstappen and Norris having no chance to catch him, but how did Verstappen do last year?
So that was his worst race.
Worst race of the season.
The only time last year that Red Bull didn't get a podium.
So what if
Verstappen.
Norris does win this race and Verstappen's in the bottom of the top 10 or for some reason gets a DNF? I mean,
Well, he finished
obviously-
6th last year, and anything can happen.
Yeah, we're spitballing a little bit too hard. But Singapore, by the way, is a beautiful city. I would know. I was in the airport once. It was only on a layover, though, so I can't really say much. But
Well, you looked out the windows.
I looked out the windows.
Did you at least eat, or you just didn't even get off the plane? That doesn't count.
No. Okay, fair.
I've been to like 52 states then. Puerto Rico's a state.
So getting into Singapore,
Yeah.
what is your prediction for the race winner?
So I'm gonna do a couple different predictions.
Okay.
Verstappen, not on the podium again.
Okay.
Oh man, it's gonna be super. George Russell did great there last year. It seems as if he's getting pretty lucky this year. I'm gonna go George Russell on the podium, Norris and Piastri on the podium.
Okay.
I'm not going to say first, second, third. Norris first.
Okay. I'm going to have one prediction. I'm just going to predict the winner,
Okay.
and I'm going to go with Nico Hülkenberg.
Really?
Yeah. Is that a surprise to you?
No. Well, that just so happens. I thought that you were going to say that.
You know what? I'm going to do you one better because I brought a little friend along with me
Oh, boy.
who's going to be a new member of the crew because he is so aggressively handsome. Maybe not the best racer right now. All jokes aside, I love the Hulkster. My legit prediction this week, Sainz.
Sainz.
I think Sainz is going to pull it off.
Well, he won last year. Okay.
I mean, if that's a course that you're good at, why
Yes.
can't that be the course that you win back-to-back years?
No, I
it's
love
no different
it.
than golf. It's a sport that you are good. It's not an oval.
Well, I love the prediction. And what do you think, Yuki Tsunoda? Does he finish?
I think he finishes, and I'm going to put him in the top 10.
There we go. And you know what? We'll see you next week.
Love you.